I would love to be a medieval jester. That's kind of my dream job. Because all you have to do is just be silly goofy to people who don't want it, which is my favorite thing to do.
Wait, would you wear the hat with like the jingle bells on it?
I would wear whatever it took to make people really mad that I was there.
Okay, you lost me. I want to be perceived as so dumb, hot, sexy, cool, and then I open up my maw and they're like, what? Jester. Yeah. It's giving jester. It's giving girl, relax.
It's giving jester.
It's giving jester.
That feeling when the king says, oh my God, it's giving jester.
It's giving corporate chill medieval era. You think the first jester to do in the king's court, like all his friends were like, fucking sell out.
Yeah.
Like,
ooh.
Like when you go, like when you take a job as like a game show host, like it's that same vibe.
This isn't the jester.
They're
I
down
knew
at the
open
tavern,
mics.
like we're
That's what I
still
was
working on our
thinking.
bits.
Yeah.
I was giving saloon, but that's not right. Saloon is like Western.
Saloon, I think it could still be a saloon.
Okay.
Probably.
Pub
for sure.
Or is that
pub.
too new?
For sure, but I think tavern is
Tavern.
where
Tavern is right.
That's right.
When you
it's
said
right
tavern,
there.
I was like, the word I had, get it out of there.
You would
It's
sweep
tavern.
in a tavern.
Oh, you
In
do.
what way?
Oh, yeah,
You
do
would
great.
walk through a tavern and everyone would be like, who is that hot, sexy woman?
I don't think so.
Really?
I don't think so. I don't get that.
Why?
I don't know. Ask the audience. Ask the audience.
Audience?
Well, I just feel like a tavern, it's like a fun, down-home vibe, but everyone's getting fucked up,
Sure.
and you'd be like, we're all in this together.
Right. You know what?
Yeah.
Actually, yes.
Yeah.
Tavern, I would probably clean up at. I'm thinking like,
Honestly, because with the bandana in your hair,
Sure.
which is so signature to you,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is tavern code.
sure, it is tavern coded. I'm looking for my tavern guy.
Yeah.
So every time I strap it on, I'm like, a guy who goes through a tavern.
Yeah, you like British guys, you wear that. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
this is tavern core.
Yeah, this is tavern
Tavern
core. Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so. Maybe I should go to more taverns.
You could definitely do the tavern starter pack.
Yeah.
You could create that.
Are there
So-
taverns in New York City right now?
I mean,
Like
there are places called
old-timey-
taverns.
Yeah, sure. I mean, there was a place called Tavern on like near where I dormed, and their whole thing was like, one, they let in underage people, and two, they would have those parties that were like you like sign up for a party and you drink free the whole night, and your friends go like half off. Were those
Never heard of
common?
this.
Like, were you?
Not really. Well, I didn't go to college in this city, so
true.
so I'm wondering if that was just like
Yeah.
a local
I
thing
could
for heathens.
barely even get into bars with my. I had a terrible fake, to be fair. I went to school in DC, and they were militant. They were
Really?
like, yeah, there were some places.
What was
that
your
were
name on your
easier.
ID?
It was my name.
It was your name.
It was
still.
my name. It was my address.
It was my age.
Yeah.
It was my ID,
Yeah,
actually.
I was like 18. I was like, why isn't it working?
Nosy Meerkats.
Your friend recommends you this place, and it's just the regular ID office.
Yeah.
You're like, oh no, I know a guy. It's the DMV.
It's the DMV. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, no, it was just, I remember why. It was because I took the picture and I was by a lamp. And so
Okay.
there was like a shadow on some
Strike
of my
one.
face. It was, and no one told me. It was like, you know, when you get the fake. I don't know if you guys have gotten fakes.
I've never gotten a fake.
I have a funny story about fakes, but you go first.
So like
Okay.
where in DC or at my school, like you would collect a bunch of people to do fakes, so you could do like one shipment because they were from China. And it's like you can't just do one, so it would be
Yeah.
like a couple of different people, and then some people would be like the fake ID traffickers, and they would be coordinating it. And he did not like intervene and be like, this picture is shit. He should have done that. He said, whatever. And then I got a really shitty ID, and I would use it to get into like, it was this really terrible bar called Grand Central on 18th Street, and it was awful. It was giving like middle school dance, jello shots for $. And I was like, this is my home because this is all I can get into.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, your home club.
My home club.
so-
And the other ones, I was like, there were some times where I would go into a club and then they would be like, oh, we have to do, and I was like, I don't think I can get into another one, guys. Like, I don't want to push my luck by showing my ID to another place. I got in here. I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
Do you still have the ID somewhere?
No, I don't.
You should laminate it or frame
I
it.
should.
Yeah.
It is laminated because it is an ID, but
Oh yeah. Well, I wouldn't know. Yeah. Because I'm a law-abiding citizen.
sure.
Sure.
You thought I had a cardboard ID, and I was like, that's why it's just literally printer paper.
With a little cartoon man on
Yeah,
it.
Yeah, this is a temporary one.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is what
yeah,
they
yeah.
sent me. This is all I got right now. You gotta let me in.
New York, I feel like it moves different because I don't even get carded.
So, okay.
I've stopped getting carded as much recently. I'm like, oh my god, I'm actually getting old now.
New York
Oh.
is like, yeah, they want to let you in because it is so hard
Yeah.
financially to exist
Yeah,
as a
yeah,
business.
yeah.
But I looked so young when I was 18 that it was like absolutely incomprehensible to let me in.
Mm-hmm.
So here's my fake ID story. I did the same thing with some friends where it was like 8 of us like bundled to get some IDs, but we were getting them from a guy who our friend was hooking up with, and then they stopped hooking up. But by the time they stopped hooking up, we'd already paid him, and he was like holding the money hostage until like this girl like made up with him. So there was like a standoff where we all didn't get our like $80 back
That's
for
insane.
like so long.
I
because-
blame her.
Yeah, you should have
Yeah.
just put out.
Yeah.
Okay, well, actually, valid, because this was the same girl who she and I had a falling out because she said some wildly homophobic things, but also she had a
Well, now I like her again.
yeah, you love her. She had a sex blog called Diary of a Female Player.
That is probably one of the most embarrassing things I've ever heard of. There's no way that she doesn't feel immense shame because of that. That is sick. That is so embarrassing. That is so embarrassing.
It was amazing. We would have readings of it every single night. It was
like making fun of her.
I mean, sure. I mean, yeah, but also respecting the art.
Sure.
No. Composing the spark notes.
Right. It was a reading.
It was
Yeah.
grammatically crazy, but what was worse was she was something of like an unreliable narrator.
Oh, yeah.
Like at one point,
the female player,
yes,
an unreliable narrator.
What are
she
you-
at one point met a guy on like a seeking arrangement style website, which is.
Seeking arrangements. What
Yeah,
do you
it's like a
mean?
sugar baby website, which is fine. Like use that for an arrangement. But
Yeah.
but then in the blog, she kept being like, I don't understand why this guy just wants to have sex with me and take me to nice parties,
like-
and he isn't falling in love with me.
Grow up.
And we were like, girl, yeah, grow
Grow
up.
the hell up.
And the blog was also kind of like low key racist. Like she had like a post that was called Diversifying, where she slept with an Indian guy. It was crazy. It was. You have no idea.
Okay,
we would drink wine and have like TED Talks where we like analyzed every
It
single
sounds really
blog.
fun. What
ad
did she
nauseam.
say in that diversifying article?
She was doing like unreliable narrator stuff where the guy was like very like sadly being like, are you just hooking up with me because you've never hooked up with a brown guy?
Oh my god.
And she would like say really crazy things back
Like yes.
Yeah.
yeah, but you're like not really brown, like things like that. And then we would all like we would be like sitting there like analyzing this, like, so this is the climax of the blog, this is the apex point, this is how it fits in historically to the rest of the blog. I mean, we were scholars.
Oh my god. I gotta read this.
What was it hosted on?
It was Tumblr.
I was hoping you would say Weebly.
Yeah.
Yeah, live
I
journal.
remember those days. Yeah.
Yeah, she took it all down, I think, because she
Damn.
became like public school teacher.
She should take it down because it's terrible.
You know what's crazy is how like I'm thinking when I think back to my some public school teachers I've had, I'm like, yeah, she's still not as bad
Yeah.
as some of the ones that I've had.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Did you go to public school?
I went to public school.
Did you have any big crazies? in
There was a guy who was known for, I mean, everyone has one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the health and fitness teacher. So enough said, right?
Yeah.
So he like loved like the girls, whatever. He would hook up with girls right after they graduated. He would, very inappropriate. And then a couple of years ago, after we had all graduated, he got. There was like a big campaign and someone was like, hey, I'm collecting stories because we all have one of this guy. And he was fired. He also... This was before the stories thing came. He got in a fight on an NJ Transit train, like that went viral, like World Star. And we were like, that's our that's our old health and fitness teacher. And then I think people were like, yeah. And he also used to try to fuck the girls. So it was like, because you were getting real wild on NJ Transit, you got your whole shit knocked off.
Oh, yeah.
Because we were like, yeah, that guy was kind of weird. That makes sense. And it's like, oh, if it was anybody who was fighting on an NJ Transit train, it would be him. And then it's like, oh, wait, yeah, he was inappropriate.
Do you know what the fight was over?
No, I think it was just like a drunken moment. Which is like, again, that's the thing about like teachers in general. Like when I was in college, or like maybe I just graduated, I hooked up with he's like a 4th grade teacher. And he was like in his 30s, and he was just like, yeah, like he was just like whatever. He did coke and like blah blah blah. And I'm like, you're someone's teacher.
Yeah,
you're someone's teacher.
Yeah.
You're someone's teacher. You're having sex with someone more than 10 years younger than you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, was it good?
The sex?
Yeah.
He was the first guy to ever lick my butthole.
That sounds very good.
And how was it?
I remember I giggled because I was not expecting it, which is, I think that's an insane thing to do, to go anywhere near someone's butthole and like not be like, oh, this is something that like might be on the menu.
Yeah.
Right?
To not explain it first. Well, not explain it. You're not going to explain it.
I'm guessing
so that's what this is. This is what analingus is.
But just to be like, oh, I'm just going to lick your asshole. I mean, maybe it's because I'm a woman who has sex with men. I would be like, hey, you need to know that like asshole is something I'm interested in. So like come prepared.
Okay.
And I don't think I think I was good. Because at that point I think I was still very anal attentive about sex. So I was like showering before I would have sex and like blah blah blah. But now I'm a little more lackadaisical. So so I'm like, you can't just be licking my asshole. You gotta let me know.
You gotta let me write a preamble.
Yeah.
And speaking of licking assholes, welcome to Two Nosy
Welcome
Meerkats.
to Two Nosy Meerkats.
Everyone. Lucas, shall you do the honors?
I shall do the honors. You may have seen her around the New York stand-up scene, which I have only found out she has only been recently taking by storm. But give a round of applause to Chika!
Woo! Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having
Can you
me.
believe she only started doing stand-up in January?
That's actually crazy to me, because
Yeah.
you're very good.
Thank you so much.
And you've been taking the world by storm.
Thank you.
When did you move to New York recently as well?
No, so it'll be 2 years in January.
Okay.
So I moved, so a year into living in New York, I started doing stand up.
And you
Gotcha.
did you move here for a job or?
No, I lived in DC. I went to school in DC, lived there after I graduated. I was working like in an office job. Pandemic happened. I quit my job because I was like, I hate it.
Yes.
And then I started freelance journalism. And so I was doing that for 2 years. And then I was like, I can live anywhere. So I lived in Philly for a few months. I hated Philly. It is not a real city. It's a podunk ass city. And then I moved to New York. I broke my lease to move to New York.
Oh,
Nice.
sick.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're such a rebel.
Yeah.
I'm inspired.
Yeah, Philly's pretty small. Like my sister lives there, and I like it, but I feel like I would go insane living there full time.
Yeah. I think it's like if I had went to school in Philly, it would be different. Or like if I had like kept in touch with the people I went to high school with, because I'm from South Jersey, it would be different. But to move to Philly essentially by yourself and then be like, let me build community here, it's not gonna happen. Because I feel like living in New York, you can make friends very easily.
Yeah.
In Philly, it's like, no, I went to
You also make
middle school with this
enemies
person.
very easily.
Yeah, which is fun.
Which is
Which is life.
Do you have enemies?
Yeah. Well, I have an enemy. Well, I don't like to call this person my enemy because I don't think they're worth it.
wow. That's true. Enemy requires
That's so
a certain
brave to
amount
say
of-
about Barack Obama, right?
He ain't shit.
Wow.
Like I
You
just
heard it.
I it's just like, yeah, I feel like there's like a level of reciprocity. I think there's a level of respect that comes from being my enemy.
Yes.
Where it's like, oh, I see there's
Where
some
can one
danger
apply?
here.
Should
To
one
be my enemy?
Yeah. What are the credentials that one would have to do?
When I talk about like me,
Indeed.com?
I get very Jersey, where I'm like, I'm a very loyal person.
Yeah.
So if I find you to be a very like, I can't trust you, you're not a loyal person.
Yes.
You're done to me. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That
respect
feels
this.
very like New York, New Jersey
Yeah.
commonality
Yeah.
to me, because I feel the same. Like I could honestly find someone a little bit morally reprehensible, but if they're loyal to me,
Yeah.
I love you.
I always say, I'm not a saint. I'm not going to say I never talk shit about people, but I don't talk shit about my friends. And if you're a person who talks shit about your friends, you're not my friend.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're not talking about me, you're talking about your other friends. I'm not
Yeah.
going to give you the opportunity. I'm not going to give you the ammo, the ammunition
Yeah.
to have shit to talk to me. We're not friends.
Changing subjects. So what I fucking hate about Gabby, This bitch, she says, "Hey, have you noticed anything different?" And then I notice that she's put on some lipstick, and then she's like, "Why aren't you talking about my titties? What the fuck?" And I'm just like, because that's an insane thing to say
here's the thing I hate
first.
about Lucas is he pretends not to notice my giant knockers.
Yeah.
And I just think that's like, what is he, blind all of a
Men
sudden?
do that, and that's very frustrating for me as someone who has. Mine aren't giant, but they're sizable. And they're out a lot. Not today, but they will be later. And I find,
Not to brag, but when I take a little nighttime bath, I do get naked.
I just have
Under these clothes, naked.
I have an outfit plan that's like pretty. It's very tit forward.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
And I find it like, oh, I have an outfit plan that's tit forward, and then no one's gonna comment on my tits.
Yeah,
I
but
agree.
not everyone can. You don't want everyone, or do you?
Depends.
Okay. You heard it here.
It would take a very specific kind of person to not want there's only a couple people where I'm like, please don't say anything.
Yeah.
Everyone else, even if it's like on the line, I
Would
want
you not say
commentary.
that like the right people would assume like, oh, I shouldn't still? Because
No.
in my mind, I'm like, you in general, that's not a good thing.
I'm not
to say.
saying walk
Yeah.
up to me and be like, nice tits.
Yeah.
But even like the
I am
acknowledgement
saying that.
the acknowledgement of like we talked like the up and down of the like if you're being so insane like blood vessel popping not to like look at my tits for a millisecond,
Yeah.
like let's all take a deep breath, look at my tits, and then we can move on, right?
Sure.
Like let's stop. That's what I mean by acknowledgement. Like don't
Right.
pretend
Oh, yeah.
that they're
Okay,
not
okay,
there
okay.
because
We're
I'm not.
adults.
Yeah.
We're adults and you love boobs.
I do.
I do.
I do. When you're right, you're right. Assalamu alaikum.
I should get you an emotional support boob pillow.
Oh, just an emotional support tit.
As if you don't have an entire girlfriend. Get you a boob pillow.
that his girlfriend is his emotional support boob pillow.
Yeah. That's her name.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
kind of a long name.
that's the pet
Hyphenated?
name.
Yeah. Well, it's traditional.
Sure. Yeah. It's
yeah.
passed down.
It's her mother's maiden name.
Right.
It's her mother. It's
Yeah,
like
it's really beautiful, actually.
It's I love the French.
Yeah.
She's not French.
I love the French.
Yeah, she's my emotional support boob pillow. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So, how's your dating life?
My dating life is I am actually, which might be should I say this? Oh, whatever. Might be like contrary to anybody who's ever seen me do stand up. I have not had sex since February.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Scratching the walls a little bit.
So you're
Last
a
time you-
femcel.
It's voluntary.
Okay.
Let's not get that twisted.
You're a volcel.
You're a volcel.
Yeah, that's awesome.
if I wanted to fuck, I could fuck.
I
Gabby.
know that's true. Volcel, though, we should start bringing that back because that's kind of dope.
I think it's literally just celibacy. I think they had to put the in because the default is that you're choosing not to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think the in or vol is the crux here. I think it is just the cell.
Right?
Incel sounds like an incel sounds like how an incel looks, but volcel sounds cool. I feel like volcels, they wear like, I don't know, what
Clothes?
do cool people wear? Yeah. No, they're like
Trench
they're,
coats.
They're like they're like Harley Davidson gang vibes, like motorcycle.
I'm not having sex till someone respects me. That's how cool they are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm
I
going
kinda
home
wanna
and reading
be-
a book and redirecting my energy in negative places.
I want to be a volcel,
You could
You
be if
can.
you want.
You so can.
but I don't want to stop having sex.
It wasn't like an
Oh,
active...
boo frickety hoo.
I know,
Sorry.
you're just like, I just fuck so much. I just can't give that up. I
Yeah.
can't give that up. I think I felt the same way. I think of myself as a very sexual person, and I think the fact that I've been so long without having sex and I still think of myself as a sexual person, that was part of the growth. Is that like I do not have to like go and get sex from like random guys who don't respect me to be a sexual person. Like that comes from within. It's the inner
Yeah.
beauty. It's the inner sex.
Being a sexual person is not about how much sex you have. It's about how down bad you constantly are.
And I'm down bad.
Yeah.
I'm so down bad. I am itching, scratching, pissing, shitting to have sex. But
Prep
but
the butthole.
huh?
But you gotta prep the butthole.
Not my butthole. I also have a very like I'm not letting anyone get into my you can lick it, it's whatever. That's like, what are we, children? You can lick it.
I've never licked a butthole. Nor
It's
have
so
I
easy. It's there. You don't even have to be good at it.
Easy. Just walk up to go to Prospect Park.
It's not like I'm learning like the motion, the play by play of it. I've also never had my asshole licked.
See that? So that is what like mine is like. It's like a negotiation, right? If you want to lick my asshole, you have to let me lick yours. If you want to fuck me in my ass, you have to let me peg you, and I have to go first because then I can
Ladies first.
Then I can renege,
Yeah.
and then I'll be like, haha, I got you. You still can fuck me in the ass.
Hey.
Scrap that. Don't let them hear that. Don't let them hear that. Yeah, it's like looking. It's like fine. It's like fun. Whatever. I don't know. I barely remember what it's like to have sex. Honestly. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
I love the idea that you're like, oh my God, it's my favorite thing. But you're like, no, I got to be cool.
Yeah. I'm like, chill.
Was there a moment you decided you were like, I'm taking a break from this for a while?
I just hadn't. And then I was like, okay, let me go get some. And then I was like, oh, I'm not really feeling it with like strangers. And then I think it's just like, I want to feel like the person I have sex with cares about me.
Yes.
And so I haven't.
Well,
I haven't been able to find that. So
let's get into that. How can someone express that they care about you in a way that you would receive?
yeah, I think it's the safety of being like, you're not just gonna leave me.
Right.
I think I have had a couple like I've had a lot of like ghostings that have been like more than just I like get very like militant when people are like ghosting's fine. I'm like, it's not fine. It's never fine because I've had some really big ones.
Yeah.
I've had one that
What counts as ghosting?
So first date, no one reaches out. That's not ghosting. If I reach out to you after a first date and you don't respond, that's ghosting.
Yeah.
We have to have gone out and then one person has to have reached out and then you just never respond. That is ghosting.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree.
Then there's way more egregious stuff down the line. I've had people, I've like gone on 3 dates with them and then on the 3rd day we have sex and then they ghost me, which is like, I'm gonna fucking murder you.
Oh,
like
Jesus.
if you have sex with somebody,
You owe them a little closure.
you owe them a little closure.
I will admit, I want to be fully honest. I have, after a single date where we didn't have sex, didn't even kiss, not even anything like that, but that they reached out and then I didn't respond.
Why?
Because I for some reason,
he's an animal.
Yeah, because you're a bad person.
yes, I'm a very bad person.
Because he got that dog in it.
I have I will say most of the time I have responded to be like, oh, thank you. I wasn't feeling that strong a connection, but I wish you the best. I would do that most of the time. But there have been times.
Well, why didn't you?
Because
it was me. He ghosted me, and I'm like, why didn't you reach out?
This is where it comes out. This is where it comes out.
Ooh, we're fleshing it out. Two nosy
The truth,
meerkats.
I don't have a strong answer. I don't have a strong answer other than that I didn't find it within me to actually give someone like that the time of day. And I regret that.
Yeah.
But I have it's
Yeah.
at least once I have done that.
Yeah. I mean, I've done that, and then like maybe a couple days later, been like, actually, I'm so sorry I didn't respond.
Yeah.
And like I don't think I've ever really been like, we're done. And then the worst ghosting I've ever had was like the worst year of my life. And I'd kind of like trauma bonded with this guy, and we went back and forth over like 4 or 5 months of like, I want to be in a relationship with you, and he's like, no, but like I really care about you. I see you in my life for a really long time. Blah 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 blah. But then we were fucking the entire time. He wasn't like, no, I can give you what you want, so like let's not. No, he was like, I'm still gonna fuck.
Yeah.
And then 4 or 5 months goes by, and then he ghosted me. And then a couple months go by, and I had like yelled at him in like a last ditch effort to like get a response, and he thumbs it up. And then a couple months later, I was like, oh, me an idiot. I was like, I should apologize for how I talked to him. He ghosted me. I was like, I should apologize for how I talked to him. And then I went to Instagram, he had a girlfriend. And the timeline was like, it was definitely like, you got a girlfriend. You were like, you met someone you liked a lot that you wanted to date, and you were like, I can't even explain it, so I'm just gonna ghost you. Because I'm like, did you not want to be in a relationship, or do you not want to be in a relationship with me? I asked him that like 10 million times. He'd be like, I don't want to be in a relationship. Yeah. And so I'm still very much wounded over that. And so I'm just like, not like, I feel like there's no guarantee that someone will stick around, but I just want to feel a lot safer.
Yeah.
Because I just don't think I can have sex with somebody again and have that happen again.
Can I ask, why do you think he said that?
Said
when he
what?
said that he wasn't looking for a relationship, even though he got in a relationship so soon after and clearly was open to a relationship.
I think it's either he didn't realize that it was me, or B, he was too chicken shit to be honest, because being honest is very difficult. And I'm like, one thing about me is that no one's ever gonna say like she doesn't communicate enough, or like no one's gonna be like I wonder what's on her mind. I'm gonna tell you, I'm like, we need to have a little chitty chat. I'm feeling a little distressed about our relationship, and I think that we were very incompatible in that way, because I think that he would have enjoyed like a lot of subtext or a lot of like, oh, we're not really talking about this. This is the thing that, and I'm like, no, I'm feeling away. We need to talk about it.
Yeah.
And I think that was probably really incompatible. Also, shouldn't be in hindsight, he was right. We would not have been good in a relationship. He was a very jealous person. I'm like a more like free, spirity, like, what does monogamy mean? Like, I don't think I'm fully polyamorous, but I'm not like, you can't look at another girl, like you can't like talk to another girl, or like liking Instagram photos. I'm like, grow up, you know?
Yeah.
So we weren't compatible, and he was right in that way, but he was also not right in ghosting me. So
Right.
Yeah. I also think I've been in that situation before where I've asked someone like, do you want to be in a relationship at all? And they've been like, no. And then they get in a relationship like 2 minutes later. And it is the kind of thing where I'm like, I'm glad she didn't say, actually, it is you.
Yeah.
You know? Because like, that would be a crazy thing to hear. Like, it's actually your vibe and your personality and your looks that I want better of.
I mean, it hurts, but sometimes I don't want to have the false hope of ever being like, well, maybe you, because that does change, right? Wanting to be in a relationship, that will eventually change. Like maybe he will want to be in a relationship one day, but not wanting to be in a relationship with me, like that's not going to change. Right. So if you had told me that, it would have been really hard, but it also would have been easier for me to move on, as opposed to me being like, well, let me stick around. We still have this connection, blah, 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 blah. If I knew that the connection was always going to be stronger on my side than on his side.
I see. There's also probably like nice ways to say it, where you could be like, I don't feel as much of a spark as I would like, or stuff like that. Yeah, I guess.
I remember I once received almost exactly those words, and I was so grateful for that, where I was like, oh my God, that's the language. I was like, because I'd always been like so anxious about like, how do you phrase something? I think that's honestly the reason why I was like a bad communicator in the past, was because I truly just didn't have the vocabulary. And then once I did, I was like so grateful that I like witnessed it.
Yeah.
I remember when I was getting ghosted, I like looked up articles like, why do people ghost?
I was on Reddit so much.
Oh my God. Yeah. You're like, you become like a scientist. You're like, why do people do this bad thing?
Yeah.
And one of the things it said was that basically like, you always hear like you have to break up with someone in person, but we don't do anything else significant in person anymore. Like okay, you hear you have to break up with people in person, but like you can text your mom happy birthday. You can like call people and say like you know what I mean? Like you don't have to do that much else in person. Like most things happen over text or over the phone.
The dissolution of a relationship, at least give me the respect to look at me in the eyeball, you know, or at least hearing your voice.
Yeah.
Just call me.
Yeah.
If you have sex with your mom, you gotta wish her happy birthday.
And you do.
You gotta do it.
So don't be
I'll think
fucking
about it.
crazy.
Well, she has to wish me a happy birthday tomorrow, so
We'll see.
we'll see if she goes.
Yeah.
We'll see. I guess she's like the one person who listens to this.
Oh yeah.
She's like our Patreon.
It would be
She's
funny.
our first Patreon subscriber.
Aww,
My mom.
It would be funny if she was like, I got mentioned.
She probably would. She seeks attention in that way.
No.
Oh yeah. She's a hoot. She's a hoot. Wait, do your parents follow your comedy?
No.
No.
I'm very like, it's so funny to be a guest on a podcast, but I'm very like, not secretive. Withholding, I think, particularly like with family. So I'm not gonna get into like a lot of family stuff, but it's like I like to ask a lot of questions because I was a journalist. Like I love to whatever. I'm also a woman, so I love to ask questions. But there feels like I didn't feel like I really became a person until after I left like my familial home. So it's like when I got to college, I was like, okay, now I'm becoming a person. And before then, I was like, I'm waiting to become a person. And so I think there's like a lot of unprocessed stuff about like how I grew up. Nothing crazy, just a lot of like, maybe like a lot of yearning or a lot of like sadness and whatever that I just don't feel that comfortable confronting. And I am in therapy, but I was like, I'm someone who loves to talk about things that have been very much processed. And if I haven't processed it, then I'm not going to talk about it, which is like, I should be talking about unprocessed stuff with my therapist. But I'm like, I literally canceled therapy yesterday. And then the reason why in my head, I was like, I just don't want to get into it. I just don't want to talk about it today.
Your therapist is like, yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
That's what this is all about.
It's just like I'm a very like I like to have a lot of control over my feelings and like how I process them and how I talk about them, because I do love, like, I'm very good at talking about my feelings, and so if I don't have the words for them, then I'm like I hate this, so I'm gonna really bury this thing. So I feel like romantically, I feel like I've put a lot of effort into being like, how should I process this and this, but sometimes with family stuff, I'm like, I don't even want to get into that.
That makes sense in terms of being a journalist too, because so much of journalism, I feel like, is taking events and like making them kind
and
of
processing
make sense
it in a way that
In a story.
other people can receive them.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I am a little curious, like, what is, because I want to ask you more about your upbringing, but I also want to respect your boundaries. What would you be willing to like talk about, like, or
well,
is there like a hard line where I'm like, I don't want to talk about like certain, like my mom or my dad or like
yeah, like I feel like I'm like, I don't want to talk about like my actual family.
Yeah, okay.
And again, love them, they're great, but it's just like, but I feel like how I grew up, I feel like is fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jersey girl.
Jersey
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
Jersey girl.
Did you enjoy growing up in South Jersey?
Yes, I think I did, but would I live there again? No, I'd rather die. And were there, it's like, I don't know, where else would I have grown up? I feel like it's like very foundational to who I am, but there were obviously a lot of like, I'm terrible at driving. And so I was like, just like alone in my house a lot, because I was like, I can't go anywhere. And so it was like, I was reading a lot and I was like writing a lot, and I lived in the woods, and that was like really nice. Like, I hate nature. I hate like bugs and stuff, but it's like, it's nice to be like in nature.
Yeah.
At least to like grow up with that. And like now I know it's like, I love the city. And people are like, I need to take a break from the city and like be in the green. I'm like, no, I don't need all that.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just go to the park. That's,
That's nature. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a nice median right there.
like there's
Yeah.
a patch of grass right
We
there.
have nature at home.
Yeah. So I did like growing up in Jersey. I don't know. Maybe I like being an adult now and being like, I'm from Jersey. But if you were asking me then, I would be like, I hate it.
You don't like being in Jersey, but you love being from Jersey.
Yes, I love being from
I
Jersey.
so see that.
Yeah.
What did you read growing up?
I read, like, I was like an early reader, so like I was reading Babysitter's
brag.
Club. I know. I remember when I was in kindergarten, I was reading to my classmates because they couldn't really read that well because they were dumb little fucks.
Yeah.
Oh my
I
god,
was
that
also-
would have been me. I have a terrible reading level.
Really? To
Yes.
this day?
Oh my god, it's so bad. I
Wow.
find it so difficult to stay focused on a book and actually like take it in. It's
Yeah.
super difficult for
Maybe
me.
it's the wrong book.
It's most books.
Okay. So I read a lot of middle grade, and then I got to a point where I remember I found some of my mom's like romance novels.
Ooh.
And I remember she'd be like, don't read those. And I'd be
Yeah.
like, there's nothing else to read.
She's like,
I'm
you wouldn't
gonna
like
read
them. She's like, you don't want to. Those pages are crinkly.
I took them anyway, and then I said, crack. Oh, now we've opened up something. I read a lot of fan fiction too.
Oh yeah.
I
Did you
remember-
write fan fiction?
I wrote a couple. I dabbled.
In what? Okay, what realms? What franchises?
embarrassing.
if you say Lord of the Rings,
No.
Lucas is gonna come.
No. So what I read a lot of Teen Titans fan fiction.
Interesting.
Coming is happening. Coming is happening.
It's just because
You had an amazing costume this Halloween.
Thank you so much.
Your Starfire costume. You guys didn't see it. It was outstanding.
Thank you very,
outstanding
very much.
costume.
Thank you. Because I think the DC world is also so interesting to me. And there's so many cast of characters. And when Teen Titans, I was like, oh, and they're all teens.
Yeah.
And I remember I would read a lot of like alternate universe ones where like they put them in high school.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then, like I loved those. I wrote one fan fiction. It's going to be so embarrassing. It was a Victorious fan fiction.
Yes.
Gabby comes.
Yes. What was it?
I was an original character.
Okay.
You entered the school.
I entered the
You were like, I'm new to this school.
Yeah, I was new to the school,
And
I
you
didn't really
swept. You took the school by storm.
Oh, they loved me.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
couldn't get enough of me.
Did you have like an underdog arc, or were you just immediately popular within the story?
So I was immediately popular, but here's the thing.
Yeah, what do you?
I could have told.
I didn't make it that far in the story. I was like, I am not really seeing the vision here. So I did wrap it up and continue to, Yeah, I remember I used to play this Japanese RPG game called Tales of Symphonia, and I was obsessed with it. And so I read but no one else was as much as I was. So there was very little fan fiction. But the one that I did existed. I consumed it vigorously. So yeah.
I still want to know which Victoria's characters were in the fan fiction boinking.
I've also never seen Victorious.
It's honestly it's good.
Yeah. It is kind of good.
See, this is what I meant when you say like, okay, I'm gonna lie, but you're gonna know, and then you're gonna understand the subtext.
It's in the Dan Schneider universe of kind of good shows.
Yeah.
Like iCarly was kind of good.
And I think Victorious was better than that. And then on top of that was Drake and Josh.
Drake and Josh was just great.
It was pretty iconic.
Yeah.
They had some of the best sitcom writing I'd ever seen. It was amazing.
It was such that sushi episode that was like an homage to I Love Lucy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's beautiful.
I know.
That sits within the realm
also,
of television.
Have a Great Day, Don't Tell Me What to Do is one of the best. It's one of the best comebacks.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing that as a kid. I was like, that's amazing. Writing.
Yeah.
And Miranda Cosgrove was a star, I have to say.
She was great.
But Josh Peck.
Also a star.
Really, there was a line when they were filming a movie and then Josh kept fucking up, and so Drake had to kept doing his line, and it was like, whoa, take it easy, man. And I say that all the time. No one understands what I'm talking about because it's a random line from a random episode of Drake
People
and
are
Josh.
just like, you changed your voice.
Yeah, and I'll be like, whoa, take it easy.
Take it easy. Do you think there's Drake and Josh fan fiction, like the two of them?
Probably.
Oh, 100% there
Probably.
100%.
That
Drake wrote.
Yeah. He's got the time.
Write fan fiction where me and Josh Peck are friends again.
Where I at least get invited to the wedding.
Yeah. I didn't write fan fiction, but in my fan fiction head, I was Drake's girlfriend.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
was a
mean,
Drake
he was
head.
pretty cute.
In that time of my life, that was my guy. That was my kind of guy.
That time.
Who are other childhood crushes?
So I have a timeline.
This
My
is a great answer.
first
Great start.
celebrity crush was a lot of these are going to be not age well.
That's fine.
Chris Brown.
That's fair.
He's cute. He's a
cute.
very attractive man.
He's a cute man.
So my first deep celebrity crush, Zac Efron.
Okay.
Yeah.
To the point where I hated Vanessa Hudgens for so long. I was like, you're a dirty little tramp and you don't deserve my man. He had a makeout with Nikki Blonsky at the end of Hairspray where he used tongue. And the way that I rewound that part of the movie, he used tongue. He tongued that bitch down.
Yeah.
And I was like, that needs to be me. Then I had a very, very intense celebrity crush. And not an aged well, Mark Wahlberg.
Fascinating. Wow. What do you think of the fact that he said he could have stopped 9/11?
Maybe. He wasn't there. We don't know. We don't know.
Give him a freaking chance.
Give him a freaking
Give the guy a chance. Come on.
Let my man cook.
He was just, he just was like because Zac Efron and even Chris Brown at that point were not very like heavy but I think I got into a masculine moment where I was just
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you also
what
it
was
sounds
it
like
that-
you like cheekbones too and like hard chin.
Let's say Mark Wahlberg. What is it you envision him doing? Is it like an activity? You know, not but because he's manly. I'm like, is he fixing up
I
the house?
know.
Is he doing something? You're like, oh fuck yeah, he could do that for me.
No,
You know?
What is it you envision him doing is such a funny
I
question.
know because I'm like my
No.
celebrity crush. I imagine him fixing my house. Like
Maybe.
Licking your asshole.
I envisioned him licking my asshole.
Yeah. Look, there it is.
I-
That's me. That's my Mark Wahlberg.
I love to argue with men. And growing up in South Jersey, there was a type of guy that we would get into funny arguments with, where it was just me, black woman, hyper intelligent, blah, 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 blah. And then it's knuckle dragging, South Jersey guys. But we were the best of friends. And a part of our friendship was getting into arguments that were fun and funny. And so that's why I envision is I love a blue collar guy that is there's more to than meets the eye, which isn't Mark Wahlberg, and not physically, but a Bill Burr type. Fuck Bill Burr, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck Bill Burr.
I like Bill Burr.
Yeah,
I like him
I'd
too.
fuck him. I'd fuck
I
him.
wouldn't fuck him, but I'd be like, but if he asked, I'd be like, oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Just-
Oh shucks.
Stop it.
Yeah.
In what context
Stop
would
it.
Bill Burr ask you to have sex? I'm dying.
This is a hilarious scenario.
Yeah.
Hey, Lucas.
Yes, Lucas, you wanna get in my bed? Let's go.
That's not bad.
Thank you.
It's not great.
It's not great.
It's not.
No,
bad.
it's not my best.
Yeah.
It's not my best.
Oh, funny story. We were at this on Hollow Weekend. We were at this bar, and it was me, you, Ryan Seawitz,
Yeah.
and Annabeth, like sitting outside, and Lucas is showing Ryan his Ryan impression. But we're all really stoned, so it's not like a great impression.
Yeah.
And then the
Okay.
well, you've done better. You've killed Ryan Seawitz before.
Okay.
But you
all right.
said at one point you said like that could have been better, but I'm too high.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then the
I have no memory.
Yeah. You're like, wait a minute.
I was like, oh no, that does sound like
yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah.
and then the
Go on,
bouncer walks over and goes, "Can I get in on this?" We're
That
like,
was
"What?"
he is the weirdest energy, but I love this.
Yeah.
dude
He
so
was
much.
like, "I want to impersonate this guy." And he points to Ryan and he tries to do a Ryan impression.
And how was it?
Bad.
Okay. And that's fair. That is fair.
Bad.
and then I did my Donald Duck, and then this bouncer started doing his.
And was that good?
I mean, mine is amazing, but his was just like, it was so abrasive and so sudden that was the thing that I
Sure.
enjoyed.
Yes.
It was just so insane. I
Wait,
was like,
I feel like I was at that party.
Yeah, I think,
I think you were, yeah.
Yeah. So I remember that bouncer. We had
yes,
a,
that was where you told me that you were planning your Star Trek hostage.
yes. Yeah, I had a chit chat with that bouncer. I don't remember
Yeah.
what I said, but he was nice. Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
very nice. He was into the arts.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah.
liked
A
singing.
participant of the arts.
I love to chit chat with bouncers.
Yeah, yeah.
He was an unusually friendly and talkative one.
You,
Yeah.
I feel like they're usually pretty nice to me. You have to like break them down a little bit.
Right.
So like I remember one time I was walking into a bar from outside. I had already been inside the bar. He was carding people, and I was like, "Oh, I was already inside." And he was like, "How am I supposed to know that?" And I was like, "You got the hell out of me." And then that made him laugh, and then we became the best of friends. And every time I
awesome.
go to that bar, he's like, "Hey, what's up?" You know, it's like if you like pause for a second, and you're like, "Hi, how are you?" Like
Yeah.
they really defrost. You know, because I feel like they're just so used to people being like, just like, "Oh, my ID," bleh, you know.
Yeah.
You give them a little cheeky smile. They're all into it.
I should try that more
Yeah.
often. Do you think that would work for me?
Why wouldn't it work for you?
I don't know.
You're a cute little twink. You could get a
Yeah.
lot. You could get your way a lot. More than you think. You could go up to any like bartender in
Yeah.
New York City, any
Yeah.
like gay bartender, and just be like, "Hi, hun."
Oh my god, you do a little. So here's the thing: everyone thinks it's like, oh, you have to be pretty, you have to be hot to
Not
get
so.
things. You just have to be friendly.
Don't worry, Lucas,
Yes.
you're allowed to.
No, don't worry about being proud.
Don't worry about it. No. You've got your own lane.
But I'm saying on top of that,
Yeah.
you have to be nice,
Yeah.
right? Because if I walked up to bouncers and I was like, meh, you know, like they wouldn't go out of their way to be nice to me.
Oh no, I think I'm always nice to bouncers.
No, but like,
Yeah.
like sugary.
Sugary.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do think with the way the beauty standard is going, like the Timothy Chalamets, and like I think Lucas
You
will
pointed
be
to me and you're like, Timothy Chalamet. Yep. Me and my twin.
I just think Lucas will be like a sex symbol in 2 years.
In 2 years. Hey,
Let-
just you wait.
Give him time. He
Just
needs to
you-
simmer.
He's cooking.
I feel like Timothy Chalamet for you is maybe like the rise of Claire Saffitz for me. Are you familiar with Claire Saffitz?
Yeah, and now that you say it, you look exactly like her.
I know. So all these hot queer women are in love with Claire Saffitz, and it makes me feel like when Pete Davidson rose onto the scene, and all the
Oh,
weird,
yeah.
and all the weird men
and all
got
the
their day.
insomniacs are like, oh, nice. Yeah.
They woke up
They woke up.
from their 15-minute nap.
Yeah.
They were like, oh,
Wait, but also I was into Pete Davidson before the rise. And
Fascinating.
then after it became
Such a
so
hipster.
oversaturated,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm not hitting like I used to. They're acting real big and bold with me in a way that they never used to before because they're, you know, full of riches. And so then you just have to move on type wise. And you have to be like, let me go to something a little less desired.
Interesting.
But I don't like to compete.
Do you feel like you can like? Do you feel like you can dictate your type and actually like sort of have control over that?
So my type is my type is people who like me, and then it'll be one guy who I really like, and then he'll be my type until I find somebody else who shows a lot of interest in me, and then I will reciprocate that. And if that's a different type, then he'll be my new type.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I have like eras.
Wow.
Really,
So it's like, all right, what
tour.
is the market saying? What can we? It's like,
Yeah.
What does the market say? She's running data analytics.
yeah. Waiting to see like who is
Yeah.
like who's like made the journey this way, and
Exactly.
be like, all right, what do we got?
Yeah. And what's the compatibility there? And
Yeah.
then like, once when I become down bad, it completely rewires my like sex chemistry. So it's like, oh, that's who I want again. So it's like when something ends with somebody, wait, you said this, it's like when something ends, I'm like, get me a version of that's exactly the same, but this time he wants to be with me. This time he wants to make me his girlfriend.
I think my type is like quiet, strange women, and the type who likes me are quiet, strange, autistic men.
You were so close.
I know. I was
so
gonna say.
close.
I was like, damn, you
I was
really
like,
won out.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't. I think. I don't know. I sometimes I'm like I'm not desired a lot, but then I do have to realize that it's like if you are not my type, I don't consider you a person. So. So I'll be like, I never get asked out, and then I'm like,
And then some guy asks you out, you're like, not you.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I'm like,
God.
that's
Who
so
told you
sweet.
you're allowed?
Yeah, no, but I'm like, that's so sweet, but no. And then I'll be like, no one ever asked me out, you know? So it's like, but I think I am reaching a point where I'm like, no, I do realize that like I am desired, but I don't want to be desired. Oh, I do want to be desired, but more like I want to be with the person that I want to be with.
Yeah.
You want to choose, not be chosen.
No, I don't even
You
want
wanna
to
be chosen by the right person.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
I don't need like I've never been a roster girl. Like I'm just like, I want my man. I want my, so even like being sexual and like being slutty, it's like I want to be slutted out by my man. I want my
I
man to take me
understand that.
down,
Because that's also
Amen,
about
soul
sex.
sister.
you know?
Yeah. Lucas is being slutted out by one woman.
Yeah. Lucky you. Lucky you.
You.
Yeah, we're making progress.
Yeah.
I belong to Gabby. I
Yeah.
do. Yes.
That's kind of hot.
Babe, that's so sweet. I'm keeping my
That
socks
was
on though.
so awkward.
I was like, nah.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, I can.
Yeah.
The rippling sexual chemistry. It's like, should I leave? This is a little too much for me. I don't want a third wheel.
The sexual tension between I just poke him.
Yeah.
Do you remember pokes on Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay, that was crazy. That was a crazy era.
There was a lot of tension and there was a lot of horniness in that.
So that's the thing. I was not really. At that point, I put money down. I was not desired like that. So I was not really. I was getting poked like by my friends, but like I never had a high school boyfriend. I've never been in a relationship, but like I didn't lose my virginity until I was 19. And then my first kiss till I was 18. I always say so most of
That's
my
not abnormal to me.
That's not abnormal, no.
yeah, but they were technology facilitated in that
okay.
I was like, okay, I'm ready to lose my virginity now. Let me go on Tinder. I used to be like, I want to be in love. And then I was like, that's not going to happen. And then I was like, oh, let me find somebody who cares about me. I was like, that's not going to happen. And I was like, let me go on a few dates with something. I was like, okay. Yeah. Swipe, come take my virginity. And that's literally what it was. And then he ghosted me.
Oh my god. Wait, when was your first? How was your first kiss?
Oh, yeah.
I have a joke about this where my first kiss was in the context of a hookup. It was a Tinder
Okay.
hookup. So he came over, we made out, and then I sucked his dick. I gave the worst blowjob in my life. I've never really looked. I think about that, and I'm like, that's just not me, you know? Like that quality of blowjob is not me, and it really bothers me to know that there's someone walking around.
Did you
thinking
tell him that? You're like, hey, that was.
You need a notes app apology.
That doesn't represent the
You
skill
need
that
to
I know
go
I have.
online. When
I would not be able to find him, but I also have a joke about this where so he was like, spit on it. And is this, we can talk.
Yeah.
He was like, spit on it. And I was like, that's spit? That's disgusting. So I gave one cursory lick of my hand. And then I was like, that's enough. And then I remember I looked up and I was like, rated on a scale from 1 to 10. And he said 6. That's crazy. That's insane. 6 while I'm sucking your dick. That's absolutely cuckoo bananas. And so I really honed my craft since then. And now I'm
Also, what tone did he possibly say it in? You can't say it's sexy. You can't be like, you're a 6.
I was like, do you like it? He was like, yeah.
He was like, yeah.
He was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I I had an undiscovered praise king, so that's what I was looking for. It was like, oh, you know.
Oh,
So I was
yeah.
like, oh, like tell me how much you like it. This is how else you know how precocious I am. Is that I'm my first hookup, and I'm like, tell me how much you like it.
Yeah.
Like,
Do I get an A?
Yeah.
Do I get an A in blowjob?
I am also wondering something that you may not like me for, but like, what if he said 6 because he was trying to like bump it? What if?
what do you mean? Like he was negging me?
Yeah. I think that's possible. I think, yeah. Oh, you're like a 6.
Yeah, it's like
You
not
could
even
do
that.
better.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your technique. That's so like vintage of
Yeah.
you. Like, it was kind of passe. I liked it. Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
If you're into that. I know it wasn't good. I know it wasn't good because the mouth keeps the score. And I can feel in my heart, I can almost like muscle memory know how I was sucking dick, and it was not good. And I, to this day, like, honestly, I miss having sex. I know I'm going to sound so pick me right now. I miss sucking dick so much.
I understand that.
I'm not going to go. That's insane
Okay.
to say on camera.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into it any more than that. But I miss sucking dick.
Even as a queer woman, I like sucking dick.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Well, this is gonna be a big surprise for both of you.
I also am like, when people do jokes, it's like, oh, I don't want to give head. I'm like, give it to me. You know? Don't waste. You know, we clean the plates off in this house. All right, give me the penis. I'll fucking
you will
suck the skin off
finish
it.
your whole blowjob before you get fucked.
You are
And
not
you will
getting
be
it from that
grateful.
table. You know who would kill for dick? Me. Okay.
like how you have to finish your vegetables
Yeah.
because starving
Yeah,
children.
I'm the starving
You're
child.
the starving child.
Your grandmother put a beautiful plate of dick out for you. She
Yeah.
spent hours on it. Old recipe.
Old recipe. Oh my god.
Plate of
Oh my
dick.
god. No, the first I remember I would say the first 3 people at least that I've had sex with, I was disgustingly bad. That I honestly would like look away if I actually ran into one of those people very recently. And we had a beautiful conversation.
Yeah.
Didn't come up, but it was
Didn't come up. Curiously.
Curiously, didn't come up.
Was it one of those things if like there had been 5 more minutes of conversation, you would have been like, so I'm sorry I was so bad at sex.
No.
No. I wouldn't have said that, but like, no, it was a great little just like catching up.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
great, yeah. But I was bad. Oh my god, it
Well,
was terrible.
And also, again, I hate how much I defend men, but it's like to be a man having sex with a woman, like, other than me giving head and then like me, like, guess like throwing it back, like I'm not doing a lot. Like,
Yeah,
I'm doing a lot visually, like with my face and like what I'm saying, and like I'm very into it.
Talk
But,
more
like,
about men's rights.
listen, missionary, it's like you're doing all the work. You're doing all the work. And so it's like, yeah, you're bad, but I'm also lying here. So,
Yeah.
like, if it's that bad, I'll speak up. Or I'll just be like,
Right.
get it over
Yeah.
with, you know?
Right.
It's like very much like, oh, like he doesn't know where the clit is. You know where it is. So why don't you fucking tell him? You know? That's, yeah. I feel like a lot of like the way that like men and women like interact or like talk about sex while not having sex, it's like a lot of bravado where it's just like, it sounds like especially if you're dating someone and you're having bad sex with them, it's your fault because you gotta say something. How is he supposed to know that you don't like it if you never say it? But you're just like kikiing with your girlfriends and
Yeah.
being like, oh, he's bad at sex, and it's like, well, sounds like you're kind of bad at sex too, because a big part about sex is communicating.
This is so true. You are responsible for your own pleasure.
Yeah.
You got it. Yeah, you got to be assertive. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. That was wonderful. I feel so validated. As a man. And can
You're
I
like,
say,
it
I think
wasn't
the men in
you.
our audience are going to love this so much.
Yeah, you're empowering Lucas too much. She's like, wait a minute, that's right. I'm gonna lay there next time.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna lay there and go, here you go.
To be fair though, like you should be able to lay a little bit. Everyone should be able to lay during sex. I'm not saying the entire time, but it's like, you know, sometimes you need a break as well.
I love to lay
Oh,
there.
my God.
I love to lie. That's one of those things.
You're the best guest we've ever had.
Yeah,
Oh.
this is so validating.
I
We
know.
both have sex
This
with women. We're like,
fucking
these
rules.
bitches gotta do more.
Yeah. No one wants to work anymore. These bitches don't want to get off their ass and work.
Get a job. And the job is having good sex with me.
Yeah.
The job is letting me lay there.
What happened to tradition?
Yeah. Amen to that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
I want to talk about your comedic voice because I'm still surprised that you are such a recent addition to the addition to the comedy community. Who were like some of your influences comedically?
Okay, so I got this question recently, and I love stand up, and when I first started doing it, I was like, this feels like a calling. This feels like something I'm supposed to be doing.
Yes.
But first and foremost, I consider myself a writer, and so a lot of my inspirations are writers, and so a big inspiration of mine is like Mindy Kaling. I'm very inspired by women who talk about sex, where it's like they're kind of the butt of the joke, or like it's like, or like there's like an affability to it where it's like it's not an adversarial relationship where it's like men versus women. It's like, oh, aren't we all just like a bunch of bumbling fools?
Yes.
And then sometimes it's really good and sometimes it's funny. So yeah, Mindy Kaling is a big inspiration of me. Bill Burr is actually an inspiration comedically. Obviously, like Monique is an inspiration. Another writer, Issa Rae, is an inspiration of mine. But I think for me, the biggest thing about my voice that I feel like I've gotten compliments on, both as a stand-up and as a writer, is feeling like there's a level of authenticity there. And I do think that to be the case. Like I wrote a joke that like was like a false premise. Like the thing was the thing is true, what happened, but I changed some of the changed like the circumstances to make it work better as a joke. And then I was like, let me actually do it again and make it honest, because I'm like, I'd like to be able to tell this joke and be like, this is actually what happened, instead of being like, oh, it's like half true or whatever. So I do like being honest. I do like my jokes to be like maybe 90% real. And then I do like to poke fun at myself and poke fun at others, but like not in a mean-spirited way. Like I want people to look at me and be like, I like her, and not be like, oh, like, there's some like mean comics, which is fine. Like,
yes,
that is their persona on stage, is that they're mean or like they're bitchy, and then they're not like that in real life, but like that's their on stage persona. I would never really be comfortable with that. I want it to be like liked.
Likability on stage can be like so important also, especially like with hosting, because it's like, even if you don't have the best set up top, you can just still, like, the audience still finds you credible.
Yeah.
And it creates a better vibe in the room.
Yeah.
Like, energy in a room is really important.
Or even if you're not, like, actively friendly, but you're weird in a way that doesn't exclude them.
Yes.
Yeah.
You just have to be not exclusive.
Yeah.
Because, like, Nick Villegas is someone who I think does that perfectly. Where he'll not really cooperate, but it's in such a fun way to watch that the audience is like, this is still just as good.
Yeah. So I don't think I've reached the point with my voice, and maybe I will or maybe I won't, where I can be a little bit more avant-garde. Like right now I am me on stage, which feels like good to me, and I get a lot of inspiration off that, and it feels like right. And maybe one day I will be like, let me do more of a character. But I think right now it's just like, I love being me.
We love you being you as well.
Aww. We do. Shall we discuss some quick current events before we get to listeners'
Okay.
submissions?
Let's do some current events.
New Met Gala theme was released. Sleeping Beauty's reawakening fashion.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Sounds like a fragrance.
It's whatever. I mean, my issue with it is like, there's going to be two celebrities who have a deeply creative, incredible outfit, and then everyone else is going to wear pajamas or just like a dress.
This is how I really dislike a lot of themed parties. It's kind of where I'm like, I'm rarely excited for Halloween. Like this year, I actually was a little bit. I was like, I have a good costume that I feel good about. It was like fairly easy to put together, but like, a lot of the time I'm like, this is a lot of effort. I'm just like, I don't. Some people are like, oh my God, an opportunity to like be really, but I'm like, this is a hassle.
Yes.
And so like with something like the Met Gala, I'm like, I don't want to get crafty.
Yeah.
I don't. Do you like getting crafty? I feel like you do.
Yeah, I do. I think I've done a lot of costumes that were like thinkers. And I was like, when I thought of it, I was like, this is gonna hit. And then the idea of explaining my costume in vivid detail, it's kind of like how yours was, like where it's like a pun. I remember one year I did like the year of the Brett Kavanaugh confirmations. I had like devil horns and I had triangles on my face, and I was like, I'm the devil's triangle, and I was like, and then it was nice for someone to be like, what are you? I'm like, I'm Starfire. And it's like I put the outfit together. I feel like maybe that's how I'm evolving. I don't know, being crafty is fun. Also a take to be like, oh, this is the theme, and then to be like, this was my take on the theme. I really like that. Sometimes when I get dressed, even for like a casual, like just a regular party, I'll have like a story to my outfit that like you're just like, oh, she's just wearing clothes. But I'm like, this was the I remember one time I was wearing a long skirt and then like a men's like long corduroy like button down, and I was like, imagine I'm your abuela. And I'm telling you, you're like, oh, like, abuela, like, what were you like when you were younger? And then it's like a flashback, and it's me in the same outfit, but like a little sluttier, because I had like a little tiny top underneath. And then I was like the belle of the ball, and everyone, like, that was, and I would explain that, and people would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you literally put on a shirt and a skirt. Like, but I was like, and here, there was a story, you know? I was crafting a tale.
Wait, but that's incredible.
Yeah.
I love it.
I've always actually wanted to do that for a Halloween costume where I dress as like a really obscure childhood memory.
I love that.
Someone's like, what are you? And I'm like, okay, it started when I was 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We're sitting there. We're sitting there at the IHOP. This goes on for 30 minutes. They're like, I wish I had not asked.
But during that party, I told that story multiple times, and there was someone behind me being like, I've heard her tell this story in my periphery 3 other times, and I love it every time. And I'm like, that's what I love
That's
too.
very
right?
nice.
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You got fans.
Yeah, yeah,
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
They're like, oh, she's doing it again. She's telling the story again.
I just
Yeah.
hope that people do not interpret the Met Gala theme as an excuse to just be asleep at the wheel with their costume.
Oh.
You know, because maybe they won't put as much effort into it, and they'll be like, well, it's because I was like sleeping.
I will say I am immediately thinking of like, you know, like a steering wheel that is on a chain and you hold it like a purse.
Asleep at the wheel.
Asleep at the wheel. Like
That's very Drag Race. Like
Very Drag Race.
Themes, I love a theme that's like a Drag Race interpretation.
Yeah.
where it's like,
Yes.
this
and I do
this
love
this.
Drag Race.
Yeah.
And that is kind of where that I probably got that idea because I would have seen it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a very Drag Race.
Yeah.
because you're a joke. You love male excellence.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's like I love Drag Race for the same reason that I think a lot of guys like watching sports. I just love watching men succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every episode is nonstop male excellence.
It's true.
We love it.
Yeah.
Okay, Patrick Dempsey is finally the sexiest man alive.
Wow.
Wasn't he?
That's very surprising.
He has been before.
I
No,
think
he
I might
hasn't.
just thinking of it different. I'm thinking of Hugh Jackman.
Yes.
And you're probably also thinking of Hugh Jackman.
No, I know. I know Patrick Dempsey.
Oh, no, because like I feel like they kind of
He was
look
in
the
Enchanted. He
same.
was in Grey's Anatomy.
Yes.
Yes. No, I know.
No,
he
no,
is.
I know, but aren't they tethers? Like they're kind of the same.
They're tethers.
They are.
Yeah.
oh,
They're
very
tethered.
similar,
Yeah, they are.
So Hugh Jackman was definitely sexiest man alive.
And there's another guy who's also the tether, James Marsden.
No.
Not as much.
Nice try, Gabby.
Nice try, Dyke.
And I said that. I said that.
Wow. I think they look alike.
I
They're
was like-
both brown-haired, blue-eyed men from the same era.
This is my bread and butter, men. So how about you listen?
And that's what you share with Gabby because she also loves men.
Yeah, as a fellow heterosexual woman,
Yeah.
I really relate to this.
You got to support the community.
I do.
She loves the community.
Yeah. Proud H.
Yeah. Proud H. Proud H.
H is doing H.
Yeah.
No, but Patrick Dempsey, I'm sure that I've seen him as like on
He's
some
never
magazine.
been the sexiest man alive. It's been a pretty severe omission for a long time.
Also,
actually.
what has he been in that would make him relevant enough? Because he's not on Grey's anymore. So it's like, what would make him
Yeah.
like in the zeitgeist that's like put him on the cover?
I think that the
Enchanted
demo.
2.
Sure.
I think the demo of people readers is probably getting older.
Right.
So they're probably like looking more for
As is he.
nostalgia.
No, but who was it last year? I feel like they're always like
Chris
I don't-
Evans last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's one for us.
Yeah. One for us H's.
Yeah.
Wait. What was his name? Who was on The Voice? He was like a country singer. He was
Blake
Shelton.
Shelton.
Blake Shelton.
Yeah.
Did you agree or disagree that he was
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I didn't get it either.
Get that man
Peace
off
and
the
love to
cover.
him.
He's
but like,
he's 6'5", so automatically he's pretty hot.
yeah, okay.
But not hot enough for people. I mean, like words mean things, you know. So like people's sexy is like, let's not be crazy. That's insane.
His face, he looks like a Lego man to me.
He looks like a Lego construction man who put on a suit.
Yeah. If I saw him walking down the street, I'd be like, that's a handsome man. But he's not celebrity handsome.
I agree.
No.
Like among his peers, he's not giving.
Yes, true.
He really batted above his weight. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing about like when people are like, oh, he's ugly or that celebrity's ugly, and it's like if they were walking down the street, you would never mind.
Finish it,
I don't
please.
even remember. I just was putting
suck it
together. Yeah, I was just putting
right
together
now.
just some gross shit that
Yeah.
was not fully formed.
Yeah.
But you would go fucking cuckoo bananas. Like you would ask,
Yes.
you would beg to suck his dick if he was walking down the street.
This reminds me of someone who I think about sometimes. Do you guys know about Luke Hemsworth? I think that's his name.
yeah, the
he's
third
other
He's the
Hemsworth,
third
yeah.
Hemsworth.
Yeah.
And like, if on his own, very handsome guy.
He's a little boring.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's handsome but boring. The other ones have an interesting thing about them.
Yeah, and the other ones just are so much more like obvious. They're also a lot taller. They're just
Sure.
like they draw your eye so much that I
Yeah.
feel so bad for
Yeah.
him.
I think the idea is Liam is like the gay one, and then Chris is the one who like has dementia.
Sorry. You said that with a straight face in a way that was like, oh, you know what you're talking about. You absolutely know what you're talking about.
Well, Liam was the reason his marriage to Miley Cyrus fell apart was because he was cheating on her with men. But they were both bisexual.
Bisexual, yeah.
I think that's, but
That
that
he was cheating.
yeah, but
Yeah.
he was cheating. That was the problem.
Yeah,
not
yeah,
that,
yeah.
not that we love gay people on this pod.
And we love bisexual men even more.
We love bisexual
Yes.
men. That's, I mean, we have one of them represented in our
Yeah,
midst
yeah.
right now.
I suck cock.
Gun to your head. You're like, I suck cock.
And then Chris Hemsworth, his whole thing is like he's like Alzheimer's runs in his family, which is crazy because it didn't come up for the other Hemsworths.
How did you, where are
He
you
got
getting this?
tested for like you can get tested for like a genetic marker that increases your likelihood to
so
get
he
it at
has
some
that.
point, and he does have that.
So I don't know why this is funny to me because it is objectively very sweet, but his wife like got prosthetics and dressed as like a very old woman so he could like see her old, which
Not
I
my
don't think
first
it's that
move.
sweet. I think it's like, is this a joke to you? Is my impending dementia a game?
that's what I think too.
You think he got home and was like, can everything not be a bit? with you?"
Yeah. Can we just be people for a second?
He's like, I'm going through a lot.
Yeah. That's I
Also,
think that's
I've
crazy.
never been one of those people who it's like, oh, let's grow old together. I'm not like, that sounds awesome. Like, I
Yeah.
want to see you. So I want to see you.
I
in
like
a-
I think it's romantic to say let's grow old together. I'm like, that's not what I meant.
Yeah.
did-
Also, I'm gonna
My
think-
culture is not your costume.
Yeah. But also it's like I'm gonna think you're hot old when I'm old.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But even then, you know that TikTok filter, like the age one that people were going cuckoo bananas
Yeah.
about? I'm not gonna look like that. We're gonna snip, tuck, tighten, sew before we even get close to that.
Yeah.
So I'm not concerned about what that filter is saying
Oh,
about me.
did you do that filter?
I did. It was a little sallow. It was sagging.
Oh, you have no idea what it did to me. It beat my ass. It hate crimed me a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
It was gnarly
Yeah.
what they did to me. Like my hair got so white.
Oh, that's fine.
So no, but and then my face was like it was melting.
You
Yeah.
look like the Dali
They
clock.
basset hounded my ass. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It really was like melting clocks. I wish.
Yeah.
I wish I was one of those clocks.
I'd give for that.
Yeah. Which is weird because like both of my parents, like when both of them were alive, great skin,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
very
yeah,
good
yeah.
skin, and so I'm like I'm doing better than
Yeah.
this. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
you're clocking my aging way worse than it's gonna be.
I never did the old people filter. It was
Wanna
one
do
of
it?
those things.
Yeah.
Should I do it?
Yeah.
Is it just on TikTok or do you have to download
The
it,
Tik-
like,
no,
the
it's just on
Russians like
TikTok.
take your face and put it in?
Hold on, let's. Okay, I'm
Deepfake
pulling it
porn.
up.
Definitely do the TikTok one.
Because as I feel like a lot of people, there was like an era like 2018 maybe where people would start taking quizzes like, what's your favorite tomato or whatever, and then what you'd have to agree to is like the Russian government will own you for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everyone would be like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Yep, this is the right one. Okay.
Oh god.
I love how you judged for a second. Did you take a picture of it?
Oh my god, I look like someone. I look like
Ah, it's so good. Oh my god.
You look like the woman
I'm gonna
from SNL.
oh my god.
Wait, like who?
Do you know the one who did that sketch? It's like awkward or like negative, like whatever. She was on Broad City too as like the boss at that temp agency.
Oh yeah, but no, I'm doing.
What's her name? Lillian.
That's what you look like in that filter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh well, I do like her.
Yeah.
Okay, but I just took a screenshot of what I looked like, and it is gnarly. It is it is real bad. Look, they got my ass. It's
But
it's
that could be
intense.
you at like 90.
You look like a
Yeah.
flat earther. I don't know how else to explain it.
Because something like that could be you at 90. Because some people looked 50, some people looked 1,000.
Yeah. They made me look 1,000.
Yeah, I think they made me look like probably 60, 70. But
Yeah, I'm
that's not
getting
bad,
lifts.
yeah.
I used to think I was going to be anti-plastic surgery as sort of a like, because maybe the anti-aging movement would like there'd be a backlash
Yeah.
to it, and then I could like capitalize on that. But now I'm like,
Not
girl,
looking
no,
good. It's not looking good. I think as every year passes, I'm like, oh, I like this version of me better. Like I'm still on my ascent, but once I start to feel like I've peaked, then I'll be like, lock it in.
Yeah.
Lock it in. We're keeping that version of me.
I've heard that like
Save the game.
Save
here.
the game. Yeah. I've reached a checkpoint.
we women are in our sexual peak like now. Like men hit it at like 13 or whatever.
Yeah,
which,
yeah, yeah.
What the fuck are they going to use it for?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
been downhill for me for so long.
Sexually, yeah. I mean, that's one thing I discovered with like fucking older guys, and they weren't even older, but they were much older than me at that time. So like
Yes.
guys in their 30s when I was
They're still
my,
older than you now.
when I was you don't know that when I was in my early 20s, and it was like, oh, just once, okay, cool. Like
Yeah.
the guys my age are cycling. I'm like, please stop, no more. Like this is a lot, and they're like one and done.
But nowadays, I feel crazy because I feel as horny as like a 13-year-old
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
I feel the horniest I've ever felt in my life.
Okay, what do you think the like a 13-year-old boy's horniness is like? Put that in. I need. Yeah, go on.
I feel like it's like
Talk your shit.
Talk your shit, Gabby. Talk
like
your
leave
shit.
the bathroom in math class to jerk off.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. That's pretty.
I
That's
knew
a,
it, I knew
that's a
it.
pretty good. That's a pretty good meters when you're like, I need a moment to myself to go off and regulate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is it. Yeah.
It's like, I can't like skip days. And even when I do, it's like on a work trip once, and I was like very irritable. I feel really fucked up, and it's like, oh, I gotta jerk off. Like I've got to find a spare moment. I'm not at that. My peak was like 18, 19. I was doing. I remember I set a record of like 5 times in one day.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Of masturbating, which I feel like is more intense than sex. Like I could have multiple rounds of sex, but to be like, it's just gonna be me.
You're gonna get that carpal tunnel. Fool.
Yeah. It was like at that moment where it's like a little painful. Like that's where I was
Oh.
reaching.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I was at like a kind of a down for a little bit, and now I'm back up probably because I've had sex in so long that my body's like, wow, let me out.
What's the most amount of times you have in a day?
I mean, as you know, sometimes masturbating stresses me out. So like twice. I like masturbating when I have the wherewithal to do it, but as I do joke about this, like it often makes me very sad because
After or during?
both.
And before.
The whole time I'm just sad thinking about. I'm like thinking about her. Oh, where is she? She's not here.
A lot of times after, I'll be like, I'm tired of doing this by myself. Like I will finish and be like, cool.
No,
Like,
that is exactly the feeling. You finish, you're like, that's it?
Yep.
Great. No cuddles?
no cuddles.
It's either you have a cuddly impulse or a murderous impulse
Yeah.
to cuddle.
Yeah.
All right, no one's going to spoon me today. I'm going
Yeah.
to kill everyone.
I'm just grateful that my mind is clear. It's like, oh, I can breathe again. It's like, oh wow, the sun is shining.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
All right.
I'm just like, oh yeah, the world again.
Wow.
You know?
That's awesome for you.
Yeah.
Yes, that's great. Remember that age filter that fucked you up? Bitch ass.
That's your fucking karma.
We-
Oh
looked
wait, I want to
awesome.
bring up something that actually we brought up before we go into listener submissions. But I remember you were looking at porn and you were like, why do guys look so angry when they masturbate? Can you smile? Like,
Yeah, it's true. Like men when they're having sex, like they either like have a very neutral expression. They look like that emoji that's like, you know what I mean?
how creepy would it be if I looked like this? Like that in my mind, that looks insane.
Okay, so my porn category, this is why I also say I'm the straightest woman who's ever lived, because my porn categories go crazy, where it's male solo, bi MMF, gay porn, just 2 dudes or multiple, like just men. I just want as many men as possible.
Yeah.
So I feel like I watch a lot of men jerk off, and there is something about it's like an intensity as opposed to an anger, where it's like I want to come so bad, and I'm like that's hot to me. Yeah.
It's like this. I need this to happen so I can move on.
Yeah.
It's like,
To be clear, I don't want them like smiling. Like they don't have to look
Giddy.
like Wonka.
What would you if you were like ideal scenario? If you could
They're
direct
like
it.
happy. They're like, yay. I don't know about yay.
Well,
but-
sometimes I smile like during, and I'll be
Yeah.
like bliss, you know. Maybe that's what
Yeah.
you're looking for.
And that's lovely for you.
I'm just looking for like, I love this. Like, why
Yeah.
can't they moan more?
yeah.
Men don't moan until they're coming.
That's well, that's a condition. I feel like that's like some men and like a conditioning thing where like I feel like some men think that it's very feminine to moan, and so that they've been conditioned not to. I've also heard that like some men are so used to pleasure being like solitude, so you have to be as quiet as possible. And so then it's hard to be loud because they're used to it being a secret.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I like a feminine guy, but I will say, yeah, it's probably a little fruity when they moan too much.
That's crazy.
not my most progressive opinion.
Yeah.
But
Sorry,
ignore-
can I make that my ringtone?
Yeah, nor phrasing of that opinion.
Sorry, if he puts it in and he's like, oh, like I would freak
That's
out.
hot. We can't get on the same page. We're like
Which is
ships
crazy because
passing
you're
each
both
other.
straight women.
I have to go more on my journey of having sex with men, and then I'll get back to you about how I feel about this. But I want like the right amount of moaning, but like, and a little bit of joy and a little bit of lust.
Sometimes a little laughter where
This
it's
is
like
a cocktail of emotions you want to express.
I know. Maybe like laughter where it's like they're laughing because it feels so good.
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds nice.
Where it's like, oh, this is unbelievable.
or they're laughing because my tattoo is so funny.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
And it feels so good.
And it
And
feels
it's like
so
a little
good.
bit of everything. Yeah.
And they're so happy to be there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get back to you guys. How I feel.
Do it for me. You're having all the sex with men that I'm not.
I will literally have sex with men and then be like, "This is for Chico."
Yeah.
She's like, oh my god, it's too big.
If
Isn't
you
it?
say that to me, I will probably knock you out. Like,
Yeah.
It's one thing for you to be having sex, but with some big old hogs, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's not right.
Yeah, you're really like, oh my god, I don't know what to do with all this money.
I
To like someone who's like,
know.
I'm starving.
Yeah.
God, this filter is killing me.
His
You know
dick
who
is just so
you know who I
big.
really look like? I look like my Aunt Barbara, my crazy Aunt Barbara. I can't deal with it.
All right. Well, we have someone who submitted on our Instagram.
Okay.
Asked this. Said, "Will you kiss my dad?" In parentheses, he's very sexy.
That's so funny. Yeah.
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 Chica's down.
Do you like dads?
I'm making a little bit of a brand of myself of liking older men.
What's the oldest you have dated? And not dated, but had relations with.
So not old. So they hadn't. He wasn't old, but he was older. So he was 32. I was 21.
Okay.
So it's nothing too crazy.
Okay, yeah, that's not crazy.
But like the Mark Wahlberg moment, and I've talked to like older men on apps, but I do have like a thing where it's like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're hot, but like, am I gonna fuck you? That's
What's
crazy.
the oldest? Oh, can I ask like what the range is?
On my dating
Yeah.
apps? 27 to I think it was 39.
Okay.
So that's for like a dating app. I think Field was. I don't even know if you can set it on that, but Field was like, come one, come all. I was like talking to a 55-year-old dude on Field.
Yeah.
Who was married to a 29-year-old woman. Yeah.
Field is crazy.
Yeah.
Field is where you get like. Field is like. Do you know anything about karaoke bars in New York City?
Say more.
Great transition.
There's like there's like room karaoke and then there's bar karaoke. Room karaoke is a little classy, and then bar karaoke is a little wild, and then there's this place called Planet Rose where like the rejects of society go.
Yeah.
And it's my favorite place. Field is the Planet Rose of dating apps.
It's the free. Well, it's not anymore because it's like, I'm like, sometimes somebody will be like, oh yeah, I saw this person on Field, and I'll be like, I don't need to be on there. I don't need this like. I mean, you can't judge someone like sexually, but I'm like, if you're on it, then the stock is going. There goes the neighborhood.
They give you
Because it's supposed to be like freaks and geeks, and I'm like, you're not a freak nor a geek. Like, I know how you talk about sex. I know, like, you're not giving what Field is supposed to be giving, and now you're like, oh well, Tinder is used, and it's like it's the new thing, so now everyone's on it. But I was on it a few years ago, where it was like, this feels like a community.
This is like home.
Yeah, you're a little weird, but it's okay. We see each other. Because I was looking for something very specific at that time too. I was like, I'm trying to fuck somebody in the ass. And so I was like, let me take my ass to field. But now I was like, and then I started to see people. Oh, you know what? I was in an open mic. I was in an open mic at the Tiny Cupboard.
Okay.
And
I'm sorry for your loss. No,
Yeah.
we
We love the tiny.
No,
cupboard.
we love the
Tiny
Tiny Cupboard.
Cupboard.
We love the
We
Tiny
love the
Cupboard. We
Tiny
love the
Cupboard.
Tiny Cupboard.
Yeah.
But there was an older guy there who was like, and I don't know if he was kidding or not, but he did live near me, like from what he had talked about in the stand-up. So it was like, he's like, oh yeah, I saw you on field. And he very much could have. And at that point, my field was so specific. And I was like, I don't want that. I don't want like the people that I'm walking around to be like, this is exactly what she wants and what she's looking for. So then I pared it down a lot. But then I was like, now I'm getting everybody. He's like, I'm like, if I'm going to be on field, I should be fucking you in the ass. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Or like, I remember I was talking to this guy and he was like, oh yeah, me and my buddy would love to like do something with like together. And he was like, but he lives in Boston. So sometimes he like comes down. I'll let you know. And then I was like, yeah, let me know when he's in town. And he was like, oh, like, well, we could hang
Mark
out in the
Wahlberg.
meantime. And I was like, no. Like, why would I be having sex with you alone?
Yeah.
Like, if I wanted to have sex with a guy, I would go do that. But like, I'm trying to have sex with two guys at the same time.
Right.
You know?
I hear that field gives you extra perks if you have a fedora in your photo.
But also, it's like, have you ever like,
Just like in life, baby.
have you ever met somebody where it's like, if I saw you on a dating app, there's no way I would have swiped on you.
Yes.
And that's how I
absolutely.
am with apps now, where it's like, I've met so many people where I'm attracted to that it's like, if you were on an app, I would not have been interested in you. So
But
then,
because you've met them in person, you got like a
Yeah.
feel of their vibe, that they're so much more attractive.
or it's like you get a little bit of a slow burn where it's like on the fourth meeting, I'm like, oh, cool. It's like, or you asked me out and I've known you for like a month or two. And I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. Like we get along, right? But like, because so much of my dating history was just apps, I feel like I dated differently. So I was like, I had a lot of expectations about a first date. Cause I'm like, I saw your profile. We were talking for a little bit, blah, 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 blah. But now like I meet somebody, I'm like, you never know where it could go. And I was never like that before.
Sometimes I feel that the opposite is true as well, where like I meet someone on a dating app who I swipe on because I'm like, I guess you're cute. But in real life, if I'd met them first, I probably wouldn't have had
Really?
much of an interest. Yeah, well, I also, when I'm on a dating app, I'm very conscious of the algorithm because if you swipe more, the app rewards you.
Yeah.
So I'll swipe on people who I maybe wouldn't traditionally swipe on.
just to get matches.
Just to
sort
get
of like
matches, yeah.
Rock up the alg.
Yeah. Sometimes even if I'm not, like sometimes I put it on men, sometimes I don't. But sometimes there's days I'm like not even interested in men where I'll put it on men because it makes me higher swiped in the algorithm.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm a
scientist.
People have watched me go on Tinder and it's just left. Like sometimes when the photo lags.
When I was on that, I was so selective.
Yeah.
So it was so rare that I would like swipe right on someone.
If the photo does not load, I'll just swipe left.
I've done that as well.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not worth it then.
That's not my husband.
My husband's photo would have loaded.
Yeah. I find this interesting though because like if I think of like who I would be attracted to in person versus it's like maybe there's like a little bit more interest if I know and I'm like I feel like but generally I think my attraction is the same.
I get it I'm a writer, so sometimes the way that profiles are written icks me. Or sometimes I'm like, if you're not taking it seriously, which sounds like annoying, but if you're like,
absolutely,
my special talent is like poo butt, and I'm like, grow up, you know, like
I would swipe left. I would swipe right.
And here I'm thinking like I'd be in love.
I'm
like, grow the fuck up, bro. Or it's more like the Hinge like responses when they like, it's like a one word thing, and it's like, we all don't want to be here. All right, put a little fucking effort in. You think you're better than me because you were like, let me make a joke profile. Put a little fucking effort in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I when I was on the app, I was like, I need to see some effort.
Yeah.
I want to.
Yeah.
I want to know that you are trying to put your personality out there
Exactly.
and trying to connect. Because like when I put I put a lot of effort into my Hinge profile. I was like, I want to give whoever's looking at this every opportunity to say this is not the right person for me.
Yeah.
I want to give you as like within reason as big but appropriate an impression of me.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to give that, and I was like, I don't want to waste anyone's time, and I wanted someone to do the same for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just always I've always thought I've had a solid profile because I'm like, again, a writer. I know how to tell a story, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I feel good about my profile and like the amount of energy I put into it. And then it's like, I already date men. I don't need to be like, let me just like take whatever comes. Like, at least let me match with men who have also put in a level of effort. Like that feels appropriate.
Men's rights, you get it. You care so much about it, and it's just.
I think that's a little bit of the opposite, where I'm like, men are kind of dirty dogs, so I need to really make a higher threshold.
Okay, this person is writing in asking for our advice.
Yes.
They say, I'm 26, non-binary. I live in Canada, but am going to Japan to teach English for at least 9 months. I leave in about 5 days, and I'm low-key terrified because I've been dating my boyfriend for about 5 months now. We're in an open relationship, but planning to stay together while I'm away. I'm excited to go to Japan, but I feel guilty about leaving my boyfriend and all my friends. I feel doubly guilty since I'm considering staying another year if I get the option. How do you not feel guilty prioritizing yourself and a once-in-a-lifetime experience when you feel like you're letting your loved ones down? Love the pod. Hopefully this is nice and juicy to discuss. Well, first of all, I do think it's interesting that, like, first
19?
of all, 26.
Oh, 26, excuse me. I don't know where I pulled that from. 26, okay.
I like that this person was like, here's a very, like, deep and kind of traumatic and sad thing that's happening to me, but I hope it's juicy, guys. I hope you like it.
Well, to bring it a little bit serious, and in that I'm thinking this person is still thinking about how we're receiving it, and is so worried about, and I think, I may be imprinting onto this person, but I'm someone that, like, I sometimes don't know what my own opinion is because I spend so much more time thinking about what other people want or think is appropriate, and I instead of me thinking about what I like or what I, and so you're doing the right thing, like reaching out, but like really take stock of like what you want, and this sounds like a really cool opportunity, and that if it's like what you want, then and what you need, like you kind of YOLO, and this is an opportunity, and you should take it.
I think they know what they want.
Yeah,
and that they're asking us, how do I make it so that people aren't mad at me for doing what I want to do, and the actual question is not how people are going to receive it. It's how do you work on not giving a shit. And I'm like, I please myself first, because if I'm not the best version of myself, I can't give anything to the people that I love.
Yes.
And so if I'm constantly, and I am a people pleaser to a degree, but when it comes to shit like that, if I really want to do something, I'm going to do it. Because again, I am the most important person in my life, and the people in my life are important to me because they make up who I am. Right? So it's like, if you're not filling yourself up, you're just going to become a husk of yourself for the people around you. Also, I think like 5 months is like, 5 months in a relationship is like, it's not insignificant, right? But do not give up an opportunity for a relationship you've been in for 5 months, like that's, and also don't feel like you're leaving a part of yourself in Canada when you are in a once in a lifetime opportunity in Japan. Like, don't be like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I can't go out because I need to FaceTime my boyfriend or like my partner, Yeah. Like, you really need to, if they're for you, they'll be for you. And they'll be through the seasons of your life that they're supposed to be. And if they're not, maybe they'll be again in the future. Maybe they won't. But like, I just like, I'm like, I always want to pursue my own happiness because it makes everyone's life around you better if you're happy.
Right.
Also, if you're dissatisfied in your relationship, it will create resentment within that partnership.
Yeah.
Which will tear it apart.
But if and when you do go to Japan and then you maybe stay another year or you don't, but if and when you come back home and you guys are still together, you guys are going to be so strong because of that.
Or maybe you won't.
Maybe you won't.
Maybe you won't.
And that's life.
But either way, it'll be good because like either you stand the test of time or you don't.
I'm very much like anti doing things because of what might happen in the future. I'm like very much for the now. So like I applied to grad school, I went to grad school, then I dropped out of grad school. I'm not gonna keep being in grad school because of I don't want to be in it anymore, so I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like it's just, it does not sit right with my spirit. I'm a very impulsive person, sometimes not. Sometimes it doesn't work out because I impulsively applied to grad school, but it's like I needed to do that to know that I don't think grad school is a part of my plan. I needed to just do it and then be like, never mind. Yeah. As opposed to just constantly thinking about doing it and maybe I'll do it and I'll have a cost benefit analysis and a pros and cons list. Just fucking do it. Like you need the experience to know whether or not it was good for you. You go to Japan and hate it. Good. Now you know you don't want to live in Japan. Now you know that's not for you.
True. Yeah. I mean, the big thing is go there, have the food. The food is
Nosh a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch the reality shows, the Japanese reality shows, the spreads. I mean, no man is better
Is worth.
than the
No.
sushi that they have out there.
Yeah.
Plus the cherry blossoms.
Yeah.
I've seen the photo. I'm like, oh my god, I would.
The trains where they like push you in.
Oh yeah, they have special guys like hired.
Yeah.
One of my
You could
favorite.
fall in love with one of those guys. The guys who
Oh.
push you into the train.
They put in the work.
They put in the wait, but also it's like when you first get there, like when you first do something where you're like, I'm leaving my friends and family and everything I know to go somewhere else, you are going to hate it at first.
Yes.
You're gonna be like, why did I do this? This was a mistake. I made a mistake. I made a mistake. You need to sit in that you need to have like a benchmark of sitting in that.
Yes,
Because
sitting
you're-
in the discomfort.
Yes, because you're going to be like, you're not going to be thinking about Japan. You're going to be thinking, this is not Canada. This is not my home. So you need to sit in that discomfort and then make the decision based off of that. So it's like there's a very middle ground of like making impulsive decisions that's like, this is what's good for me, what's not good for me, but also letting it sit for a little bit so you truly understand what's good for me and what's not good for me. You need to hone the impulsive bone. I feel like I've honed it for so long where it's like, I know what's right for me. But if you are someone who's like people pleased a lot and you make decisions based off what other people think, it's going to take a little bit of time to practice and be like, how can I even trust my own intuition? You need to like hone that.
That's the journey I'm on.
Yeah.
Is me trying to figure out trying to get more in touch with my own instincts and my own emotions.
Yeah.
Because it was not something that was encouraged really growing up. It was not something that I was given the space to do. Yeah. It's difficult.
And then it's like, and then you'll make a mistake and you'll be like, well, this is why I don't trust my intuition. But it's like those mistakes are incredibly important too. Like you have to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we are coming towards the end of the episode. You've been an amazing guest. Chika, our final segment is called Self-Perception Corner, where we ask our guests to describe how they believe they are perceived by other people, and then we say how we actually perceive you.
Okay.
It's going to go so much better than anything you're expecting.
No, I don't want to sound like I'm like bigging myself up or have a huge ego,
That's okay.
but I perceive myself to be generally well liked. I think other people see me as like a confident, charismatic, person who I think is easy to talk to. I think I'm easy to talk to. Yeah, that's how I perceive myself.
Yeah. I would say first thing I thought was like, I saw you, I was like, gorgeous. Like that was definitely like first impression. And then I saw you on stage, I was like, totally like fun electric energy. Like some mics are so dead,
Yeah.
you know, and then you go up and you just like fill the room with like joy. And it just made me very happy. And I feel like I didn't know you that well before you came on here, but the Jersey girl thing is like so palpable. Like you are just so real. And I feel very connected to that.
Wait, I love this segment.
Well, we weren't going to bring you on this podcast and be like, we hate you.
Yeah. You're like, we're a
You
bitch.
suck. Yeah.
Well, and ditto to everything, but I think something I was saying earlier, why I think it was so surprising that you relatively new to stand up is because you already have such confidence in who you are that with most stand-ups, I think that that's something that like you build up over a lot of time.
Yeah.
And so seeing that confidence that is not aggressive, but it is assertive in a really positive way is so unusual, but a very attractive quality in a person. And you have that in spades.
I think the other thing about the Jersey thing, when you were talking about like being the person who talks to like the dumb South Jersey guy, you know, it's like that will make you affable to everyone. And like I think like killing people with kindness and like, you know, attracting more, what is it, like bees with honey rather than vinegar, it's like that is such a positive thing in this community. And it's also like it bodes well for people in their I feel like it shows me you're a very driven person because you want to get along with people.
Yeah.
And you do very naturally get along with people. I think some people like very much sink under social pressures, and I just don't see that about you.
No.
Chika, you've been
You're good.
amazing. Please
You've been
plug
amazing.
and promote
Yes.
anything
This
you'd
will be
like.
coming out in a couple weeks. Just about, yeah.
Okay, very, very sweet. Oh my God, I fucking love that segment. Oh my God, I love to hear about myself, but I don't want any mistake about that. Yeah, I'm just performing comedy a lot all over Brooklyn. I'm not really sure because a few weeks I'm not sure what shows I'll be doing, but I run an open mic on Sundays at 6:30 at Secret Pour in Bushwick. It's called Garden State Comedy. It's a New Jersey themed open mic. The theme is that the hosts are from New Jersey. And that's really it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so come through for that. And yeah, maybe check out any other projects I'm percolating. I've got work in the works. But yeah, thank you so much for having me.
So
Thank you
glad
for
to
being
have you.
on.
For me, I only thing I can think of probably like by the time this will come out, a Vermont Comedy Fest. I'm going to be going out there at the end of November. Check me out there. Otherwise, yeah, follow me on the socials and sign up for my mailing list. Let me know where you are, where I can do stand up. Yeah, that's it for me.
I'm doing some more road stuff in Connecticut, so follow that. Soon, that's gonna be in January. I'm opening for Dave Sheehan's show, which is really exciting.
Oh, that's awesome.
Besides that, random things here and there. If you've gotten this far in the episode, you already follow me, but it would be so important to me if you subscribe to our Patreon.
Yes.
We just got our first subscriber that wasn't my mom or dad, so that was so helpful to us.
We're moving on up. We do have normies. We got normal people.
We got normies.
We got normal people.
People who are not blood related to me at all. So please subscribe.
But we do invite you to marry into the family.
I also do invite that, especially if you're hot and cool and a little autistic. Thank you, Chika, for being on the pod.
Thank you, Chika, so much.
Thank you to producer Olivia. She's not here right now, but we
Indeed.
love her
Thank
so
you,
much.
Olivia. We love
We've
you.
been two Nosy Meerkats. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.